Welcome to Audacity Works, a podcast inspired by and dedicated to the working artist, the creative entrepreneur, and generally, doing the damn thing. This exists on the premise that the world belongs to those who have the audacity to believe that their lives have value. This is for you. Welcome to Audacity Works. I'm your host, Rachel Strickland, and this is episode number 181, and it is about cultural appropriation, otherwise known as, oh God, am I part of the problem? Before we get into the meat and taters of that question, little update from me. You may notice the sound is different. For those who have been with me for a while, you may recall that my microphone was misbehaving while I was in Mexico leading the retreat at Sweet Retreats in January. Well, that microphone shit the bed. So I am now using this cute little tiny mini mic, and I don't really know what I'm doing yet. So if it sounds kind of hollow or tinny, it's because I don't know what I'm doing. My apologies in advance to anyone who is very sensitive to sound quality. I am trying to get it sorted. So I'm coming at you live today. Live. This is so recorded. It's not live. I am in the basement in-law, little, we're calling it the Rachel hole for the moment, of my friend Kim Malone's house in Asheville, North Carolina. And I came to see the fundraiser show from Intropies Movement Collective. I saw the lineup and knew half the performers. I'm like, well, I have to drive to Asheville. I have to see that. And I've been meaning to get up here for a while because this is where I was educated. See, they did a really good job. I went to UNC Asheville. I was on the 5-year program because the first year I did jack shit. But I did graduate and have a bachelor's degree from that university in literature and creative writing. So I lived here for 6 years, and those are formative years, like 18-ish to 23-ish. Wherever you are during that phase of your life is going to leave an impression. So this place is full of ghosts for me. Like every time I walk down one of the city blocks, I'm just flooded with memories. Like, oh, that's where I had a panic attack in the public restroom. This is where I sat with my best friend and we talked about really inappropriate things to be saying out loud in public. This is where I sat waiting for a boy for 2 hours who never showed up. This is where I went to a fairy party, you know, all that good stuff. And today's my last day here. And I added this on as an extra day because I really, really like unstructured time. And it's break week from the Audacity project. So the tots have unstructured time as well, hopefully to catch up or take a nap or rest or whatever they need to do. So I'm doing the same. And today I'm just going to wander in my old stomping grounds and let the ghosts come at me from all angles. And if you're unfamiliar with Asheville, North Carolina, it is truly a vortex. Like the energy here is just different. The volume's turned up to 11. It attracts a very particular type of human, myself included. And to date, it is the only place I've ever lived that didn't make me feel like a weirdo. Because I'm not. When I'm here, I'm just another person in Asheville. And I can't really talk about it with that sort of sense of ownership anymore because I haven't lived here in 20 years. And a lot has changed. It's gotten a lot more bougie, but honestly, there is so much that is just exactly the same. So the nostalgia quotient is high. This is a very, very hippie forward place. There's an enormous amount of new age culture, a lot of witches, big overlap in the hippie witch continuum. And as such, I think it's a perfect setting to begin to address the question of cultural appropriation. And I'll explain how this came about, and I'll explain why this is the perfect place to begin to address that question. Notice that I'm saying begin to address. This is a 20-minute podcast episode, and I talked about myself for the first 5 minutes. So this is by no means a dissertation on cultural appropriation and what constitutes it and what to do about it. And also, I am not the voice of authority here because I am a fucking white lady. Not to say that I don't have indigenous roots. I do. However, claiming indigenous roots when you have no lived experience as a native person is appropriation. That is my opinion, and I am not going to change my mind. But surely I can't be the only one that gets annoyed when white people claim a culture that I have no doubt like is totally in their bloodline. I'm not talking about bloodlines. I'm talking about lived experience. And by lived experience, I mean, I'll just use myself as an example. My grandfather was a card-carrying member of the Choctaw-Chickasaw tribe. And by card-carrying, there's actually a card. My dad has it. It's at home in Dad's little dad hole. That is a fact about my heritage. It is also a fact that I was raised in the Piedmont of North Carolina, out past the county line with a bunch of other white people. I have no lived experience coming up against the hurdles, the prejudices, and the systemic oppression that Native people have experienced at the hands of white people. So yeah, not super comfortable walking around being like, guess what? I'm Choctaw Chickasaw. Like, you're white. You were raised white. So let me give you some background on now why this question came up. It's actually one of my current students in the Audacity project, a lovely artist named Aiyanna. And she wrote to me saying she really wanted to use this song. And she loved it. She thought it was a perfect fit for what she was trying to create. And I'll quote you here, Aiyanna, also wondering how to not contribute to a practice of appropriation that doesn't sit with me. It's a bigger theme I've been grappling with around using music from cultures that are historically and contemporarily marginalized and abused by the West. And the West is where I am located, performing, and likely where my art is going to be consumed. So how do I use my body to celebrate instead of appropriate? Let's talk about it. Or rather, let's begin to talk about it. For context, Aiyanna is an artist of color, but the music that she wants to use is Indian. She's not Indian. So where we are right now, my good people, is on the threshold of a personal choice that each and every one of you is going to have to make for yourselves. And even not making it is already a choice, if you feel me. Because we could talk about it all day, but when you're not a part of the culture that you want to use, you can call it celebrate, utilize, honor, enjoy, you yourself will have to find peace with a way to do that in integrity with yourself. So the question, I'll put it to you, unless you're going to travel to the places where these cultures originated from and ask the people there, which is an option that you have, but how can you enjoy this music and other aspects of other cultures to which you have no claim in a way that is respectful and celebratory without just laying claim to them and behaving as though you have some sort of right to possess their art. And I will repeat that I do think this is a personal choice that we each have to make, including the option of not doing so in the first place. However, personally, this is my choice, my personal choice. I don't think that's the best approach. If we all only stick to what we were raised with, like, if I only listened to Neil Diamond, because that's what my mama played while I was growing up, or, John Denver. See, I told you I am white. And if I would only allow those influences to be what I heard, what I enjoyed, and what shaped how I view and enjoy music, do you think that that's better? Is that a better outcome than learning to appreciate and enjoy music from all around the world? See, I don't think it is. I don't think it's a better outcome. I think that the more we are able to see and experience other cultures, music, art, fashion, that is a good thing. That is a very positive part of the human experience, and clearly a very popular one, because we all really, really love we love it. We love being slutty with our culture. And I think that's a really natural human joy that's not going anywhere. So that's my choice. I've already made that choice. I'm like, I don't want to just stick to white culture. What even is that? Even if I said I just wanted to stick to Southern culture because I'm from the South, guess what? Southern culture is Black culture. So that choice is kind of made for me, which means that I'm left with that same question. How do I enjoy, share, and celebrate other music, other fashion, other traditions in a way that honors rather than appropriates? And this is a very apt question, particularly for a witch. This brings us round to Asheville, and I'm going to use a very basic premise of New Age witchcraft to make this point. And that premise is white sage. If you listen to this podcast, I'm betting you've used it before. You probably have 6 or 7 little bundles tucked away somewhere. So do I. Oh, there's a big truck going by. I wonder if this mic is going to pick that up. I'm going to leave this in because I want you to know that it's happening. So I had never heard of white sage, shockingly, in my, I won't call it suburban because I was out past the county line, but anyway, that did not come up in my rearing. And then I came here to Asheville to go to university and learned about white sage real fast, except I didn't. I remember seeing who would become a boyfriend of mine smoking it out of a very hobbity type pipe, which of course ensorcelled me. I was like, oh my God, what is that? And he was like, it's sage. I'm like, oh, what's that? And then I learned that you burn sage and use the smoke to cleanse energy in a space. And that was the end of the conversation. So I'm like, awesome. Came by it very innocently. They probably did too. Doesn't matter. Oh, for way too many years. I know I was a kid. I was 18, but I didn't know. I just did what everyone else was doing. I'm like, awesome. This smells good. It's so witchy. It's beautiful. I love this ritual. But no one told me where it came from, and I didn't ask. And it comes from indigenous culture. I can't even name a particular indigenous culture. And not just sage, but sweetgrass and Palo Santo, both really popular options. They've really caught on, and all of those come from native practices, as the burning of which was used in ritual to cleanse a space. And the smoke from these plants, from these herbs, truly is cleansing. It has antimicrobial properties. So now we know this, and the picture begins to get even bigger, and it broadens into the use of incense, which has been traced back to the fifth dynasty in Egypt, like 4,500 years ago. Human beings have always enjoyed burning fragrant herbs in ritual, and have used smoke to cleanse their spaces of energies. And it is different in every different corner of the world. There's not necessarily a lot of overlap. And the reason why there's not a big overlap is because these herbs and compounds aren't available in every corner of the globe. Wherever cultures originate, they use what plants are available to them where they live. Which is going to bring me to a suggestion that I have for those of you who love using sage and other herbs to clean your space. And I'm sure by now, because it's become a lot more important to acknowledge the origin of things, you know that these do come from indigenous practices. They do come from native practices, and most of us are non-native. And when non-native people use native rituals, there's a big old question mark hovering up there. And I want to be clear that, like, I'm not here to shame you and tell you not to use sage. That's not what the point of this podcast at all. It's like, yeah, if you want to use sage, use sage. You have to find a way to do that in integrity with yourself. There's that personal question coming up again. One way of doing that would be to know the history of the plant that you're burning. And also that it has become problematic, the commercialization of these herbs, and as far as I know, white sage isn't an endangered species. Otherwise, we wouldn't be burning it. But it is overharvested, and it's also unnecessary because we can just learn what plants are available to us locally and learn the properties of those plants, and we can make it ourselves. We don't even have to buy it at Target, bundled up with a little amethyst crystal. We can make it ourselves. This is pretty new to me. For my home girl Amber's birthday last year, we did an herb walk with a local botanist named April. I'll put her link in the show notes. She knows so much about cultural practice and about herbology and plants, and we took a walk on the coast and gathered several herbs that grow really abundantly here. Well, I'm not in the low country, but in the low country in coastal South Carolina. And she told us the properties of each one, and we made our own smudge sticks, like in a circle right there in the dunes. You let them dry out for a couple of weeks, and there's your smudge stick. And then using it feels really good. One, because I know that it was sustainably sourced, because I sourced it my damn self, and I know where to find those plants, and I know, thanks to April, how to harvest them without harming the mother plant. And I know that when it runs out, I can just get more because it grows in my yard. So I will add like a little note of caution. I know I'm suggesting, hey, use the plants that grow in your area, but you do want to know what you're burning. Like, you don't want to accidentally fill your home with poison sumac smoke. So a little plant identification could go a long way here. And yes, we can acknowledge that human lineage, human history has used smoke to clean spaces, while also acknowledging that until 1978 in the United States, Indigenous people were jailed or killed just for keeping Indigenous practices like smudging alive. It was literally a crime And remembering that with respect and gratitude when we use these same practices to clean our homes can go a long way towards answering that giant question mark floating above our heads. It's kind of like that quote from Braiding Sweetgrass, I think, or maybe it was the Overstory. Clearly, I have my references mixed up. But like, how do you thank a tree? How do you thank a tree? And the only answer is to eat the fruit. Well, let's know where it came from. Honestly, I have so much more that I want to say about this. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is an introduction into this conversation. I would like to hear from you. And as I was having that discussion with my student Aiyanna about the music earlier that I mentioned, she wants to hear more about it. I want to hear more about it. What do y'all think? How do you feel about using and enjoying aspects of other cultures, and how do you do it in a way that you feel is in integrity and with respect? I want to hear from anyone who has a strong opinion. For today, I'm going to have to end this episode because I'm looking at the time and I'm past time, and I know I have a whole lot more to say about this. But I have a date with a lot of ghosts, so I'm going to go do that. And I am absolutely 110% certain that I will see so much white sage for sale today in downtown Asheville. And I will think about all of you and wonder how you feel about it. If you want to tell me, or if you have requests for future episodes, you can reach me always on Instagram at Rachel Strickland Creative or on Patreon at Rachel Strickland Creative. This podcast is powered by Patreon. They make so much of who I am as a person, as well as this podcast, possible in the first place. So thank you to my patrons. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your ears. And thank you for your time and support. This could not exist without you. Until next time, my friends, eat the fruit and be grateful that you know where it came from. Don't go back to sleep.